Hello and welcome to the Asia Cup Boomer Live. Here we are to talk about Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka. What a chaotic game that was for the Lankans because I personally was having dinner and I just checked the score and it was 83 and I had to rush. I literally had to rush that. That's the reason that we have started the live so late. Most of us were having dinner and Sri Lanka just disappointed us in the worst way possible, isn't it? So that's how we have started off the Asia Cup with Afghanistan. Looks like they've set ablaze the stage. They look like serious dark horses, as we discussed in our last video. I have Jaren and Sandeepani joining me. Welcome, gentlemen, on the show. I'll get to Jaren first up. Jaren, this is a kind of game which can absolutely, demoralize you as a team, isn't it? How is Sri Lanka going to really perceive it from here on?
Well, to be very honest, this is a kind of, it's a very young side, the Sri Lankan team, and they have been researching for a long time. They haven't surfaced yet. But I mean, nothing really for Sri Lanka here. It's just something that you go home, take a cold shower, and then just forget it. Reset yourself. And this is hope. Sri Lanka will have to think that this is not the start of the tournament. This is match zero. The next two
Yeah,
matches is that the tournament begins, but hard to come back from. This
absolutely.
is a team which is going to have a lot of difficulty to come back. These are some youngsters. In fact, if you look at the bowling lineup, especially, it's full of youngsters. So the senior batting lineup has not shown them a very good, has not shown them a very good ideal match to go ahead with.
Yeah, absolutely. Sandeepani, coming to you because you were someone who were very vocal about how Sri Lanka are and how disappointing they could have been, and you were also vocal about Gunatilaka as a player as well. Now Gunatilaka did not perform that well. He just stuck to his average of scoring 17 runs, and not just that, Sri Lanka as a team did not really show up, isn't it? They were really chaotic with the decision making, couple of runouts here and there, and with the shot making as well. They were three down. So that was some beautiful bowling by Mr. Fazil Al Faruqi. But other than that, they could have actually rebuilt. Rajapaksha and Gunatilaka were on a rebuild phase. But there again, some really poor shot selections. Maybe I would say this modern day, you want to back yourself to play those reverse sweeps, etc. But then, when you have a fielder there in the cow corner, you don't really take those chances, isn't it? And that's how Gunatilaka fell. And after that, it was just like a three pin. It just everybody fell. Jasun Shanaka again. It was all a complete web laid down by Afghanistan, and Sri Lanka fell right into it. What do you have to tell about that, Sandeep? To start off with?
I think to start off with, I thought like when the Afghanistan inning started, I was at attending a family dinner. I was sort of invited for family dinner event. So it was just like I was having my dinner and suddenly I see the game is almost over. So I had to rush back. It was raining, so I first of all I am very angry at how Sri Lanka played due to personal reasons as well. But honestly, I feel yeah, but honestly, if you ask me, I feel that any team that is winning the toss in this Asia Cup, like we mentioned in our previews as well, any team that is winning the toss will definitely go elect to bowl first, and chasing definitely seems very easy on UAE at the moment right now. And I think it will be very difficult for any team to sort of bat first, put up a total, and win the game. I am a bit disappointed by that fact too, because it's not nice when a toss like decides a game. It is not really nice. We
Hmm.
were seeing this pattern early on the previous year's IPL, but suddenly teams like Gujarat Titans sort of broke the momentum, and there was less due this time around. But
Hmm.
this time in UAE, again, due we always knew would have been a factor. But also to add to that, Sri Lanka's inconsistency and poor shot selection again.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were rebuilding your innings, and when you know
Hmm.
that you have Hasaranga coming in at number 6 for you, you should be a bit more careful about your wickets,
Yeah.
especially when there was an early collapse. First of all, a pathetic decision.
Yeah. I think we lost Sandeepani's connection there, if I'm not wrong. I'll come to Jaren meanwhile, as Sandeepani connects back. Jaren, let's talk about the decision actually of Afghanistan to actually ball first? And how do you see this being a trend? Because Sandeep was talking on the similar lanes as to this being a trend in this Asia Cup. How can that affect a tournament like Asia Cup now? Because in UAE we've seen that even the previous couple of editions of the IPL as well, how teams prefer chasing. Yeah, Sandeep is back. Sandeep,
Yeah.
uh,
So
yeah.
as I
Meanwhile,
was saying, I think
yeah,
the decision was pathetic. The umpiring level should not go down to this level when you give a
yeah,
top order batsman and one of the mainstays of the team out like that.
mm,
I mean, that just broke the momentum. And I really liked what Jaden said, that now Sri Lanka just have to wipe off this game, and now it's not even in their hands. I think this format of the Asia Cup is very sort of, it's new, so there are a lot of questions to be asked regarding that. So definitely, I think only if a team will get only 2 games, so you have no warm ups. So now, if Sri
mm,
Lanka has to defeat Bangladesh and hope that Bangladesh defeats Afghanistan, Bangladesh loses to Afghanistan by a huge margin, because the net run
right,
rate will also play a huge factor, because they were just demolished. Afghanistan just took the game away from them, and again, we had said that Mujibur Rahman. We were interested to see which Mujibur Rahman would turn up for this game, and it was very good to see the
mm,
Mujibur Rahman of the old. And
yeah,
definitely Fazal Haq Faruqi and Rashid Khan are the two main threats in that Afghanistan bowling lineup. I always said that 8 overs you have to be very careful, especially Fazal Haq Faruqi early on in the innings and at the death. I think that is where he
right,
excels, and we saw how devastating he was. Like right in the first over,
absolutely,
two men batsmen, Asalanka and Pathum Nisanka, have been one of the more consistent players in this Sri Lankan unit over the last 1.5 years. So I
right.
think that to start off with, obviously he was very lucky to get Nisanka out, but definitely brilliant bowling from Afghanistan, brilliant team play, some support from the toss as well and the pitch. So yeah, all in all, very Afghanistan are almost through and they will be very happy.
I mean, rightfully, before we, as Sandimani mentioned about the umpiring errors, let's pull out that particular shot, right? And particular graphic of how the wicket fell. I will have that on the screen right now. It's a very interesting, uh, it's a very interesting decision in my liking, because I never expected that decision to go in the favor of Afghanistan, because of the very fact that I thought it was not out. Let's pull that on the screen. Meanwhile, as we get it on the screen, let's look at that. Very interesting call. Look at that graphic there. This was the call. How do you guys see this decision? Jen, coming to you.
It was a howler. I mean, what do you say for that? I remember when we were watching the match together, you told me that there are a few spikes there, but that was probably the reason why the umpire took the decision. That's me going into his shoes. But then if you see throughout the footage, those spikes remain. It could probably the wind blowing. It could be a multitude of things, but it was definitely not bat hitting the ball. There was clear daylight between bat and ball, and even when those spikes become, those big spikes become, I mean, the much larger, the deviation's much larger. The ball is already past the bat, so it just
Yeah.
clear. I mean, it's just clear lack of concentration or lack of skill, whatever you may call it. But what it was just terrible. The fact that two kids, two college-going kids, compared to an international umpire, can give a better decision shows how bad it was.
I mean, let's not talk about that's one of the decisions in the first wicket. They had to review
Yes,
it. It was also plumb in front. After that, again, it was
correct.
overturned. But here, TV
I mean,
umpire
then
was
DRS
fouler,
actually
man.
saved. DRS
I mean,
saves the
let's talk of
umpire.
Pathum Nisanka, because why this wicket was also so important. Pathum Nisanka has been one player for Sri Lanka who has stabilized this or steadied the ship in numerous occasions. Let's talk about that series against Australia where he stepped up in numerous occasions. So he's a vital player for Sri Lanka. Tomorrow you see Virat Kohli getting out in such a manner, we all will be furious. And it's the same case for Sri Lanka as well. They have all the right to be furious, because this could have well been. I'm not saying that Sri Lanka would have gone on to win, but this could have well been a score of 150 to 160 if Pathum Nisaka would have gotten going. And with 140 to 150 plus, scoreboard pressure does play a part. Here, they went going, and once you scored 50 runs plus, it was easy for Afghanistan to chase it down completely. Hasaranga was never in the game. Tikshana was never in the game. So here, if we are talking about one of their major players who was given this decision, and it was poor decision by, I think it was Nanda Kumar, who was the umpire. Um, I think it was Nanta Kobal and Kubar. I'm not sure who the umpire was. It was an Indian umpire for sure. And Indian umpires continue to disappoint us time and time again. I'm just so furious with the fact that this wicket, how can this even begin? Sandeepani, coming to you, what are your thoughts on this? Because there was no spike throughout. There was no spike throughout. And how was this given out? I have no idea.
Me too. I mean, I just said it upfront because Pathum Nisanka is your mainstay. It has been was a sensation in the series against Australia when Sri Lanka toured Australia, and he's a sort of a player that sort of builds the innings for Sri Lanka, because we have players like Rajapaksha, Asalanka, and Dhananjay De Silva. All of these players just come in. Tashun Shanaka, they just go after the bowling. But
Right.
whereas Pathum Nisanka is a very steady sort of a player who takes time, scores at 120, 130, gives you those 35, 40 runs, and plays throughout the innings. So I
Hmm.
think right at the start, losing him was terrible, and
No,
losing
the
him this
question
way.
over here, Sandeepani, is that we can understand an umpire on the field can make these judgments, right? We can make
Yeah, there are
errors.
no excuses. I mean, we have nothing to say. I mean, it's
But
clear from
my
here.
point is, with technology involved, how can you make such howler kind of a decision? Because you have an ultra edge, you have possibly you can hear the noise. There was no nick, and whatever it was, there were slight tremors throughout while the ball was traveling. It could be the swing of the bat as well, because even wind can cause a minor of the edges. This is not even the faintest of edge. Look at that. This is what happens whenever the ball touches a willow. There's a certain amount of spike which comes, regardless of what it is. It is not
Yes, yes,
even found in this
absolutely.
particular
I
matter.
mean, he has nothing like it was just a brain fed moment, because we can't really justify it, defend it. There is no way a third umpire can make this sort of errors in such a big game. So there are no justifiable reasons how we can defend him, or we can say anything about it, because it's clearly evident that he had a brain fed moment, and definitely he'd be kicking himself, and the entire Sri Lanka team would be like really furious at him, and there is not really
Very
anything that
valid
can
point.
justify this sort of an action.
Absolutely.
Sandeepani, I think the
Jen,
entire Sri Lankan team would want to kick the umpire.
Yeah, definitely.
it reminds me of one of those
I
footages
mean, I
from.
just think as Abel mentioned, I just got scared if Virat Kohli is given out like that tomorrow. I mean, Virat Kohli will run straight to the third umpire. He'll kick him himself.
I mean, you can expect some Ben Stokes coming out of Virat Kohli as well.
Of course.
let's let's not get into that, because
Yeah.
with Ben Stokes and everybody, let's not get into those kind of things. But before that, let's one of the footages which really reminds me is Josh Hazelwood in the New Zealand game. He really
That's what
asked
I tweeted. Yeah.
who dash is that third umpire. That's how Sri Lankans will be feeling. Who the dash is the third umpire. That's how I felt. Who the dash was the third umpire, because that kind of decision to be given in Asia Cup. I understand this would happen in a bilateral series played between Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, where the technological advancement would be pretty bad. But here you have the riches over here. It's played in Dubai. You've got the best of footages to actually deliver, and probably one of the match turning moments. From there on, Sri Lanka were demoralized. Let's not forget that 5-3 is worse than being 5-2, right? So that's what happened,
And
and
you
I,
never
I
know if Nisanka would not have got out at that moment. Asalanka would not have that golden ball duck, either. So it could have
yeah.
gone completely. It could have been a
No,
different
no,
game
I think
altogether.
Aslanka got out before that. Aslanka got out before that. Aslanka came at
Did
number
he?
3, and Aslanka got
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah,
before.
yeah. He got out before that,
With-
but anyway, I mean, it's just you had to like Rajapaksha coming in could not play his natural game. We all know Rajapaksha. If he plays out the first 10, 15 balls, he wants to be at something 25, 30, go about at 200 runs. The strike rate should be around 200. That is how Rajapaksha plays. But he had to sort of rebuild the innings along with somebody like a Gunatilaka who was under extreme pressure. You have to realize Gunatilaka with a career average of 17 after 40 games, he had to deliver. So there was
I knew he
added
would pull
pressure
out that
with
career
the team
average.
collapsing.
I just knew, regardless of what happens tonight, Sunny Bunny is definitely going to pull out Tilaka's career average, because he's been
So
very vocal about
I
it.
definitely think for the Bangladesh game, they should definitely try Dinesh Chandimal if he is
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
lineup.
very surprising, right?
And
Jen,
Yeah.
coming to
Dinesh
you.
Chandimal,
some-
I think that's a
Yeah,
very good point. This game would have been very different if we had experience of Dinesh Chandimal. He's playing good cricket. It's not like he's playing bad cricket, and it's not like
yeah.
you have Gunatilaka
No,
who's
he's
been
coming off couple of centuries in Test
lighting
format
this.
and against two
Yeah,
quality bowling attacks.
he's got a double century
Yeah,
and
yeah.
against a very good team. And it's not like Gunatilaka is just lighting the Sri Lankan team on fire. He's scoring left and right. He did a very good job. I mean, if you compare the whole lineup, he did a decent job. But Dinesh Chandimal is what they needed today. Someone with that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking more about it, Sandeepani, how important can a player like Dinesh Chandimal be to this lineup? Because, to have an anchor, he can be an anchor, he can be an aggressor. He's got plethora of experience playing in these conditions and playing in these kind of situations. And now you have a game against Bangladesh, which is going to be so important. If you lose that, you're out. And you're almost virtually knocked out. You have to
Yeah.
expect Bangladesh to now lose because your net run rate is in -1. And if Bangladesh, if even if you have to
And there are
defeat
no games
Bangladesh,
to cover it up. I mean, just the two games. So I don't think any team can go that like down in the net run rate. I think probably Hong Kong will, if they are
no, no,
unfortunate enough to sort of, yeah.
I mean,
Otherwise,
the
yeah. Yeah,
my
the
point is
point
that
you asked is
even
that
yeah,
whether what is the importance of Dinesh Chandimal in this team, and I don't understand why Gunatilaka was playing if he's not even opening. Gunatilaka has been opening for Sri Lanka in the ODI format. He has had results in the ODI format. In the T20I format, he was tried out as an opener, did not work. Came in at number 3, number 4 in a couple of games, did not work. When you have Kushal Mendes and Pathum Nisanka playing so well, opening the innings, then it's not justified for Gunatilaka to come in at number 4 and play in this team. When you have
yeah,
players like Dhananjay De Silva, who also sat out for this game, you
yeah,
have players like Dinesh Chandimal, who is making a comeback, who looked phenomenal in the prior series that he played. He was
yeah,
scoring runs. He was looking good in the out there. So
yeah.
it's really I don't know what the management and Shanaka was really thinking. But I think they have sort of decided that Gunatilaka, if they went with Gunatilaka, this is a make or break series for him. I don't see him
Absolutely.
continuing further in the T20I format for Sri Lanka at least.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it certainly looked like make or break for Gunatilaka, the player. But then, let's take some questions over here, right? UAE providing green tops. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised because I also mentioned in my pre-match, or because while we were talking about the underdogs, I did mention that UAE pitches are going to be green tops. UAE pitches expect them to be green tops because it is the earlier part of the season. UAE season hasn't yet begun because it's right after summer, and UAE pitches, and especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi, though we don't have matches in Abu Dhabi, Dubai has always kept on producing good wickets for fast ballers up front. If you remember the IPL matches, you talk about 2020 season, right? You remember one of those spells of Shami. You remember Shaheen Shah for the spell, for example. In Dubai, the ball is going to nip around quite a bit, and spinners are also going to be in the game, but it's not going to be low and slow. Unlike Sharjah, after 5 to 6 matches, the pitches are going to really going to wear out, and where you're going to get really low scoring games. But in Dubai, it's going to be really good decks where fast ballers are going to be in the game throughout. That's why I believe teams bowling first will definitely have the advantage. And that's also because of the reason that they've watered the pitch. In Dubai Cricket Stadium, they keep watering the pitch time and time again before the game. So which means the pitches are well conducive for pacers. You remember Jofra Archer producing some killer spells there. Andre Nokia there, Rabada, Jasprit Bumrah's bowling well, Trent Bolt. We all remember these bowlers having really good time in Dubai Cricket Stadium, especially because of the kind of decks what they provide. And you expect this kind of pitches to stay throughout the course of the Asia Cup, and it's not going to be a difference at all. Can Afghanistan really? We have a question on can Afghanistan really win or not? Jaren, what are your thoughts on this Afghanistan team so far? Can they really make it to the top four from here on?
I mean, if there's one thing that I can definitely say is if I had shown you the scorecard and just blacked out the teams, you would have definitely guessed that the Afghanistan team has fallen over. But things are different, isn't it, with the Afghanistan team? You saw their fast ballers do so well. I mean, when was the last time you imagined a fast bowler to get a man of the match? This Afghanistan team is actually a very dangerous team. And if you look at maybe India, Pakistan, this team can easily be put at the third spot the way they performed today. Because we expected coming into this series that maybe a Sri Lanka is going to take that third spot up. But now that Bangladesh is not in form, and the fact that Bangladesh is not in form, Sri Lanka is doing this bad, suddenly puts Afghanistan at the third spot, at least in terms of contenders. And you never know with a tournament with knockouts being the the format of a tournament, you never know what can happen. And suddenly, if in India and a Pakistan, or suddenly an upset of Pakistan going away, or Pakistan losing to Afghanistan, you might see this Afghanistan team take a lot of teams by surprise. But then, uh, if they go all the way, probabilities are very less. I wouldn't bet on it. But if that happens, that'll be something really nice. I mean, I would love to see it. Even though I'm an Indian, I
Absolutely.
want Indian to do. But Afghanistan winning this trophy, it might do what, it might do what 1983 World Cup did for India.
I mean, of course, like, it's not as big as a World Cup, but then Afghanistan in a major tournament has yet to make the mark, isn't it? And thank you, Tammy, for that, because I know you've been joining us from Australia all the time, and it's always great to have people from across the world. We have had someone from Sharjah as well, Shanwari. I think you're from Afghanistan, if I'm not wrong, Shanwari. And I'm just guessing with the name. I could be very wrong, but then thank you for the love from Sharjah as well. Guys, now taking from a question, who can win the Asia Cup? Before that, let's talk about Afghanistan, the batting lineup as well, right? Because we spoke about Rahmanullah Gurbaz in brief. In the preview as well, how big a factor is this guy gonna be? Because this team only knows one way to play. It is hit or miss. And Rahmanullah Gurbaz and Hazratullah Zazai, that opening combination is one hell of a opening combination, and I expect them to really make it big this tournament, especially because with Rahmanullah Gurbaz is technically very sound. Zaza is just the opposite. He just like stand and deliver. That's all what he knows. Then you have a Najibullah to come in. You have a Nabi. You have a Rashid Khan who's looking terrific in the nets. In nets, he's just on his social media, he's just posting videos of his batting than bowling. So he just looks like in top form with the bat at least. And let's talk about it, right? Sandeep, coming to you, how big a factor is these two going to be going into the tournament? Because I believe they can absolutely steamroll Bangladesh and go to the Super Four and give a run for the money to both India and Pakistan if they qualify. If they qualify, I'm just not predicting it already, but yeah, uh,
I mean,
either of
it's
the two.
yeah, it's more or less simple for India and Pakistan to figure out that India and Pakistan will qualify from that group. But Afghanistan looks really good right now. Especially the two openers we mentioned, we covered this in our live in our previews for the game, that if Hazratullah Zazai and Rahmanullah Gurbaz both manage to play out the first, like play till the power play, the score can well be 70-80 for no loss, and that is what exactly happened tonight. And it was against no, like it was not a sort of a bad bowling attack. They were brilliant. I mean, Rahmanullah Gurbaz, the way he attacked, we were very
Let's put
excited.
a
In
slight
fact,
promotion there, right? Rahmanullah Gurbaz is one of our own. He plays for the Delhi Bulls.
yeah,
He's
first
got
of
it
all,
in him, man.
Rahmanullah Gurbaz is one of our own, and secondly, he has been in very good form. He is that sort of a player who is very fearless, and really he's more of the young generation, the new sort of players who has this approach of just going after the bowling no matter what situation they are in. And I think it was very sensible, not sensible, it was very smart sort of batting, because they knew the target was small. If they can put on early pressure, like take the game away within the first 3 or 4 overs, if they would have lost an early wicket, I would have expected Gurbaz to sort of slow down a bit, because then just so that he did not get out at the wrong moment and create unnecessary pressure for the team. But since
Hmm.
they did not lose wickets in the first 1 or 2 overs, they just decided to go for it and just take the game away within the first 3 or 2 or 3 overs, just kill the game. And that is exactly what they did. And just to know that they had players like Karim Jannat, Muhammad Nabi, and Rashid Khan waiting in the hut, and Najibullah
Yeah,
Zadran and
scary,
Hazratullah
man.
Zazai was
Scary,
not dismissed
scary,
yet.
scary team
Scary,
actually.
scary batting lineup, and I think yeah, they are still on paper. I think still India and Pakistan are better than Afghanistan, but
Yeah.
paper does not really say anything. It's
Yeah,
the
paper
form,
does
and
not say anything in
it's
sport,
yeah,
man. I mean, you wish it was some kind of a debate competition or something where you can actually predict, but then this is actually a true test of your skills, and they're mentally there,
definitely.
and they look very relaxed compared to the World Cup last year. That's one
And
thing
you
which I
may be
found to be
very
true.
skillful, and you may have the best of times, but then umpires will give you out like Nisanka, and everything will go downhill from there. So
Yeah,
Short.
yeah. One thing which I want to ask Jaren is that we saw this bowling attack. We always criticize Afghanistan did not have a fast bowler. We know Fazal Haq Farooqi now. Fazal Haq Farooqi is coming off a good stint with Sunrisers Hyderabad in the IPL. You saw that confidence in him. He's coming off a major tournament. He's got the skills. He's got a back of a hand slow ball. He can bowl in the death with those Yorkers. He can swing the ball here and there. And we did talk about in the preview as well with Sandeep. Fazal Haq Farooqi is one of the players to watch out for. Jen, how impressed are you with this lad, man? And how important is he gonna be for Afghanistan? Because this tournament is all about having the good mix, right? They've got a Naveen Hulak with the variation, they've got a Rashid Khan, they've got a Mujib, they've got a Nabi, they've got a Noor Ahmed who's waiting on the wings. Can they really challenge the big boys here?
I definitely think so. I mean, this is one of the best. I mean, well-rounded teams in the in Asia Cup, and they're balling. I mean, if you want, if you already see this bowling attack, Rashid Khan removes the team's full 20 overs quota. And that's something that every team has started to play with him, the way they started to play him out. And in fact, today was one of those days where they didn't even need Rashid Khan. And the main reason for that was Ibrahim Zadran. The fact that he balled this, it just seemed like Trent Bolt was bowling, or a Mitch Stark was bowling, or a Shaheen Afridi who's probably playing in Afghanistan colors. It was just brilliant. The way he swung the ball, it just seemed like he was not a youngster. It was someone who's been playing cricket for so long and someone at the top of his game. And a green top just aided this guy. He was just too good. And the Sri Lankan batting lineup, which is clumsy most often than not, just could not go against this guy, and the pace and the fierceness that he brought up. And yeah, I really think he's going to trouble every batting lineup, be it even India. This guy has got the talent, he's got the technique. He's going to trouble every batsman. On his day, he's going to rip a lot of batting lineups.
Absolutely. Satyamani, we spoke about how this guy is so talented even in the preview, right? Now, talking about how this guy, alongside someone like a Naveen Hulak, how are they going to benefit from a bowler like Umar Gul being the bowling coach? Because let's give him also some kind of credit, because Umar Gul is a legend of the game. Umar Gul, I've
Yeah.
seen it all. Umar Gul has been an all format legend for Pakistan. He was one of the leading wicket takers for Pakistan in T20 internationals as well. So he knows the conditions. He has been playing long for the longest period of time in UAE as well. How is that going to benefit the Afghan fast bowlers, especially in this tournament?
I think it is a blessing. It is a huge blessing for them that Umar Gul is their bowling coach, because I think often when we talk about Afghanistan, we just mention their spinners. There is Mujibur Rahman, Rashid Khan, Noor Ahmed, all these youngsters, all these spinning youngsters playing for Afghanistan. But we never consider or talk about the fast bowlers that they had.
Yeah.
So I mean, Fazal Ak Faruqi has been doing the talking with the ball, and he has been making the ball talk for quite some time now. And then there are players like very experienced players like Navinul Haq, which I thought many teams are going to target, because see, Rashid Khan, Mujibur Rahman, and Fazal Ak Faruqi, these 12 overs, I mean, you are not going to get too many runs out of this 12 overs. So the opposition, what they think is, we will target the other 8 overs, and Navinul Haq is going to bowl 4 out of that. And they also have a fifth bowling option in the fifth bowling option. Today, I think Omar Zai bowled and went for
Yeah.
20 runs in 1 over.
Mm.
It was very expensive. There is Mohammad Nabi in the ranks, so they have enough bowling. There was Karim Jannat as well. But talking about Navinul Haq, I mean, he has to play a very important role, especially at the death, because as we move into the later half of the tournament, when Afghanistan are eventually going to play India or Pakistan in the Super Fours, I think the how they bowl in the death overs is going to be very important, because we know Fazal Ak Faruqi with the new ball is going to be outstanding. Rashid Khan and Mujibur Rahman in the middle overs are going to keep the batsmen under pressure. But the batsmen will really be looking to break their shackles right at the end, and sort of go for 14-15 runs per over when they have Navinul Haq bowling at the death. And even batsmen will fancy facing Fazal Ak Faruqi at the later stages of the innings. So I
Mm.
think that is where Afghanistan's real test will come. I mean, yesterday or day before yesterday, when we were doing the preview, we spoke about how I was really concerned about Afghanistan's batting, because we have always known the bowling will more or less be the savior for Afghanistan. And I had mentioned that in low scoring games, it is Afghanistan who will be coming out on top. Be whether they play against Pakistan or Sri Lanka. With India, we don't know, because India's batting and bowling talents, we can't really justify that. They are the Afghanistan players are still not on par with it. Yeah, definitely Rashid Khan is a world class bowler, probably the best bowler in the world right now. But the other players, you have to have the team that is going to be sort of have to the entire team have to put on an amazing show to defeat the opponent. So I
Mm.
feel this Afghanistan team, they still have a lot of boxes to tick, but they will be taking a lot of positives. The openers are firing, the opening bowlers are bowling fabulously. Mujibur Rahman coming to the game, bringing his A game, and they did not have to use Rashid Khan with the ball and Mohammad Nabi with the bat. That is a huge boon for them, defeating a Sri Lankan team who was in considerable, good amount of form heading into this tournament, defeating them so easily without using their X factor players, their main players, their trump card players. So that is going to be very a very good sort of boost for them. But they will have a lot of boxes to tick. That death over bowling will be very testing for them, and also the batting in the other games. Today they had only
Absolutely.
104 to chase, but if you have 150 to chase in the same pitch, can Rahmanullah Gurbaz and Hazratullah Zazai come in and blow the bowling away? That will be interesting to see.
Absolutely, because from here on, it's going to be a massive, massive time for Sri Lankan cricket and for Sri Lanka at large, because it's not going to be easy, right? Bangladesh is right there, and also with Afghanistan gotten off to that kind of a start, how it's going to be so important. Now, Jaren, you already mentioned it's going to be so important for them to just forget and restart. But for Afghanistan, how important is it going to be for them to remain consistent? Because you can have such a game, you can be right up there, your adrenaline is going to be rushing really high, confidence is going to be there. And now coming up against Bangladesh, Bangladesh is always a tricky team in Asia Cups, and Bangladesh will really fancy their chances as well against any team in the world. So, can Afghanistan maintain this consistency going into the Super Fours?
Well, I mean, if there's one thing that I know, it's sports momentum is very important, and that is right now with Afghanistan. Bangladesh is lacking that. They've had a lot of turmoil within their team. Shakib has been in, has been out. Now he's become the captain. Mushfiqur Rahim has not played many T20 games in a long time. They have a fresh
Hmm.
team. Sabir Rahman is coming back in the team as well. So it's going to be it's a
Rahman, yeah.
team. On one side you have a team which is gelling really well, which is enjoying the cricket, and on the other side you have a team which is really, really, it's not, forget unity, they're really having some internal problems among the board and the players itself. So on that
Hmm.
note itself, you might say that the Afghanistan have the upper hand. But of course, as you mentioned, game's not played on paper, it's played on the ground. And Bangladesh are coming in with a lot more experience in this platform. They've, I mean, in this tournament, they've done well in this tournament before. But I would say my money would be on Afghanistan, because this team is much more well-rounded than the Bangladeshi team. Because this team, for example, Bangladesh, are going to depend again on their spinners. And on the other hand, even their best fast bowler
Yeah.
is a spinner. He's just a spinner who comes in and balls quick.
Yeah.
But if you look at this Afghanistan team, I think the Bangladeshi team will have to play out of their skins if they have to beat this if they have to beat this Afghanistan team. And I will be really surprised if Afghanistan does not end up in the top four.
Very surprised as well. I know if
No, I think
Bangladesh also
they
really.
have almost potentially. Afghanistan have almost
Yeah.
potentially qualified, because
So
for
the net run
Afghanistan to
rate,
be out, yeah,
yeah, the
statistically
net
it is
run rate is,
almost impossible. Bangladesh have to beat Afghanistan by a huge margin, and then Sri Lanka have to beat Bangladesh by a huge margin, and that is very improbable right now.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is for sure. But you have a question: can Bangladesh really qualify into the Super Four? What do you lads think about Bangladesh making it to the Super Four? Because for Bangladesh from here on, it's job cut out very simple. Win one of their two matches and make it to the Super Four. Because I don't think Sri Lanka can actually make it to the Super Four from here on. If they lose, if they even if they win the next match, they have to win it in 2 overs to actually go into positive net run rate. They have to win the match in 2 overs. If they have to chase 130, they have to chase in 2 overs, which is not possible at all. And
No,
secondly, talking about Bangladesh,
but the thing is, if Afghanistan are going to play Bangladesh next, and if Afghanistan beats Bangladesh, then Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka is a potential knockout match. Whoever wins
Hmm.
will qualify. Whoever loses will go out. Similarly, so Bangladesh have to take, like, like mentally, if I were in the Bangladesh camp right now, I would have thought that the game against Afghanistan is a potential knockout game for me, because
yeah.
if I can somehow beat Afghanistan, then I am through, because then Sri Lanka have to worry about the net run rate and all sort of different stuff. But if Bangladesh loses to Afghanistan, then Sri Lanka are well in it, because Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh will be a potential knockout game. It will be like a quarterfinal.
हाँ, क्या बांग्लादेश दोनों गेम जीतेगा? हिंदी में बात करूँ। जी, इस सवाल को तो मैं कैसे लूँ? मतलब बांग्लादेश जीत भी सकता है, बांग्लादेश हार भी सकता है। जिस तरीके से बांग्लादेश ने ज़िम्बाब्वे के खिलाफ खेला है, वैसे खेला तो ज़रूर हारेगा उन लोग। पर जैसे बोला कि शाकिब अल हसन वापस आया है टीम में, शाकिब के साथ बहुत सारा तजुर्बा भी मिलता है टीम को, और वैसे है कि मुशफ़िक़ुर रहीम के लिए भी एक महत्वपूर्ण टूर्नामेंट रहेगा। आप देखेंगे तो मुशफ़िक़ुर रहीम, महमूदुल्लाह, शाकिब अल हसन, इन तीनों खिलाड़ी पिछले 10-15 साल के लिए पिछले 10-15 साल बांग्लादेश के लिए खेला हुआ है। तो वो तजुर्बा तो होगा ही, तो उसके साथ-साथ ही मुस्तफ़िज़ुर रहमान का भी रोल बहुत बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा इस टीम के लिए, क्योंकि यूएई कंडीशंस में या तो उन लोग शारजाह में 2 गेम खेल रहे हैं, शारजाह में ऐसा ऐसा पिच रहेगा जैसे आईपीएल में रहा, मतलब स्लो या बहुत धीमे तरीके से पिच रहेगा, तो मुस्तफ़िज़ुर रहमान बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण प्रतीक्षक होगा उस टीम के लिए भी। मेरे मेरे को लगता है सबसे महत्वपूर्ण खिलाड़ी इस टीम के लिए तो शाकिब अल हसन ही रहेगा, और शाकिब अल हसन को नंबर 3 में आके बैटिंग भी करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से शाकिब अल हसन पिछले वर्ल्ड कप में खेला था ना, मतलब 2019 वर्ल्ड कप में, वैसे ही खेलना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि शाकिब अल हसन 6 नंबर पे या 5 नंबर पे आके कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है इस टीम के लिए। हम पहले भी कहा है इस टीम का बैटिंग ऑर्डर ऐसा होना चाहिए कि मेहदी हसन मिराज को मैं बैक कर रहा हूँ ओपन करने के लिए, मेहदी हसन मिराज और शाहिद अनाम उल हक ओपन करेगा, उसके साथ-साथ शाकिब 3 पे, मुशफ़िकुर 4 पे, महमूदुल्लाह 5 और उसके साथ आई थिंक शब्बीर रहमान है, शब्बीर आएगा 6 पे, या वैसे कोई एक ऑलराउंडर भी है इस टीम में, कौन है
मुसद्दिक है,
ऑलराउंडर में?
मुसद्दिक हुसैन।
मुशफ़िकुर भी है। तो
मुसद्दिक हुसैन है, नंबर 7 पे आएगा शायद।
मुस्तफ़िज़
हाँ।
हुसैन आगे हमने मुस्तफ़िज़ हुसैन के बारे में एक वीडियो भी किया हुआ है, आप देख लीजिए इंस्टाग्राम में जाके। सो मुस्तफ़िज़ हुसैन का बीपीएल रिकॉर्ड भी काफ़ी अच्छा था। मुस्तफ़िज़ हुसैन 39 कुछ एवरेज था उसका बीपीएल में भी, तो वो एक अच्छा ऑलराउंडर रहेगा। बांग्लादेश के पास ऑलराउंडर्स है, पर ऐसा है कि उन लोग बड़े स्टेज में आके डिलीवर कर पाएँगे कि नहीं? पिछले 3 4 4 एशिया कप में 3 बार तो उन लोग फाइनल खेल चुका है। क्या जरन आपको लगता है कि बांग्लादेश आ पाएगा फाइनल में, या तो सुपर 4 में आ पाएगा?
देखो, स्टेज तो सेट है बांग्लादेश के लिए। जैसे संदीप अनिल ने बोला कि नेट रन रेट श्रीलंका का बहुत कम हो चुका है, एंड अगर बांग्लादेश बेयर मिनिमम भी कर ले, बस एक मैच ही जीत जाए, और फिर अगर वो श्रीलंका के साथ टाई भी कर ले पॉइंट्स वाइज, तभी बांग्लादेश के पास ज्यादा चांस है। अब बांग्लादेश को ये सर्टेन करना पड़ेगा कि वो इसी तरह जैसे अफगानिस्तान अभी श्रीलंका को हराया, वैसे ही बांग्लादेश श्रीलंका से ना हार जाए। अगर ऐसी हार अगर बांग्लादेश को लग जाए, तो शायद बड़ा भारी हो सकता है किसी भी टीम का। एंड ये ग्रुप का ना, इस ग्रुप का ना यही यही खासियत है कि इस ग्रुप में कुछ भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि ये तीनों टीम बहुत अनप्रेडिक्टेबल टीम है। हम ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते कि जैसे इंडिया के साथ हमको पता है कि इंडिया हर मैच जीत सकती है, इस टीम के साथ ना हमेशा 50-50 रहता है इन तीनों टीम्स के साथ। और अब अफगानिस्तान ने भी दिखा दिया है कि वो भी कुछ कम नहीं है, वो तीनों टीम से देखा जाए तो फिर इस ग्रुप में कुछ भी हो सकता है, और हम लोग लास्ट मैच तक, लास्ट बॉल तक कुछ नहीं बता सकते हैं।
हाँ, ये बात तो सही है,
और
मतलब
बांग्लादेश
वो
का इस बार का टीम में मेरे को लगता है कि बॉलिंग थोड़ा वीक है, क्योंकि मुस्तफिजुर के
हम्म।
लिए मुस्तफिजुर तो एक साइड से अच्छा बॉलिंग करेगा, लेकिन उसको सपोर्ट चाहिए ना किसी से। वो
बांग्लादेश को
अकेला
टीम
कोई
देखते हैं हम, बांग्लादेश को टीम हम देखते हैं। सॉरी, ये पाकिस्तान का टीम रहेगा, सॉरी 1 सेकंड 1 सेकंड, मैं बांग्लादेश का टीम लेके आता हूँ स्क्रीन पे, और बांग्लादेश का टीम के बारे में
नहीं,
अब
सैफुद्दीन है, सैफुद्दीन है इन लोगों का मेन बॉलिंग में, जो पेसर में है सैफुद्दीन है और मुस्तफिजुर रहमान है, और फिर स्पिनर्स है, मुसद्दिक हुसैन है, शाकिब अल हसन है, मेहदी हसन मिराज है। तो ये लोग जो प्लेयर्स है, ये मेरे को लग रहा है कि थोड़ा बॉलिंग के हिसाब से ये लोग थोड़ा वीक है। बांग्लादेश का जो सबसे स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट होगा उनका मिडिल ऑर्डर बैटिंग, क्योंकि बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है। शाकिब अगर नंबर 3 पे आएगा, तो उसके बाद मुशफिकुर रहीम आएगा नंबर 4 पे, नंबर 5 पे महमूदुल्लाह खेलेगा। बट वो लोग अपने ओपनर्स को बहुत मिस करेंगे, क्योंकि
मेरे को लगता है
तामिम इकबाल नहीं
इबादत
है।
भी बहुत बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रोल प्ले कर सकता है
इबादत
इस
हुसैन, हाँ, बट
इबादत
इबादत
का
हुसैन
फॉर्म भी
देखना
अच्छा
पड़ेगा
रहा है
कि ये लोग
पिछले 1
3
साल
पेसर
में।
के साथ चलेंगे कि 2 पेसर के साथ चलेंगे, क्योंकि बांग्लादेश एक और टीम है जहाँ पे बहुत सारे ऑलराउंडर्स है, और ज्यादातर स्पिनिंग ऑलराउंडर्स है, ज्यादातर की सारे स्पिनिंग ऑलराउंडर्स है, क्योंकि सौम्य
जी,
सरकार
बिल्कुल।
टीम में नहीं है, और
सौम्य
लिटन
सरकार
दास
भी है।
भी टीम में नहीं है, तमीम इकबाल टीम में नहीं है। तो मेरे को ये जो ओपनिंग स्लॉट है, वो बहुत इनएक्सपीरियंस लग रहा है बांग्लादेश का। तो हम लोग ये एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि बांग्लादेश फिर मतलब डेफिनेटली पावर प्ले में विकेट गिर सकता है 1 या 2, पर फिर इन लोगों का जो स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट है, शाकिब अल हसन को, मुशफिकुर रहीम को मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द इनिंग्स में दोनों में से एक को रहना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि ये उन लोगों के लिए इनिंग्स बिल्ड करेगा। ये मैंने पिछले दिन में भी बोला था कि ये दो इन लोगों के मेन प्लेयर्स हैं, इन लोगों के आसपास पूरा टीम खेलेंगे। ये लोग एक इन दोनों में से एक एंकर रोल प्ले करेगा। उसके बाद इन लोगों के पास प्लेयर्स है, इन लोगों के पास महमूदुल्लाह है जो लास्ट में आके बड़े शॉट लगा सकते हैं। इन लोगों के पास मुसद्दिक हुसैन है, जिसका अभी एबल ने बोला कि बांग्लादेश प्रीमियर लीग में रिकॉर्ड बढ़िया था पिछले साल स्पेशली।
हुँ।
और मेहदी हसन मिराज भी है जो कि आके अनप्रेडिक्टेबली मार सकते हैं। तो
जी,
ये
बिल्कुल।
बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होने वाला है कि ये लोग बैटिंग में कैसे जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि बॉलिंग मोर और लेस एक कंसर्न है ही बांग्लादेश के लिए।
हुँ।
और इन तीनों टीम में अभी जैसे जेरिन ने बोला कि इन तीनों में से कोई हमेशा 50-50 है। आप नहीं बोल सकते आज इतना गंदी तरीके से अफगानिस्तान ने श्रीलंका को हराया, इसका मतलब कल भी अफगानिस्तान बांग्लादेश को हरा देगा। ऐसा
Hmm.
इन इस ग्रुप में हम लोग बोल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि कंसिस्टेंसी एक बहुत
उसी
इंपॉर्टेंट
वजह से
फैक्टर है।
ग्रुप ऑफ डेथ है और इसी वजह से ये
या
सबसे ज़्यादा
डेफिनेटली।
कॉम्पिटिटिव ग्रुप रह सकता है। Thank you for that question, Rudra. We'll move ahead. We'll talk about the big game which we have in our hand tomorrow. It is the clash of the Titans. It is India taking on Pakistan. Huge grudge match for both the teams. For India, especially last time around when they met in the same ground, it was all Pakistan. Pakistan had a field day against India where Pakistan won by 10 wickets. Rizwan and Babar, it was for them. Now let's talk about the teams. Let's talk about the predicted 11 first up. Let's pull out the Indian predicted 11. Boys, what do you reckon about this Indian predicted 11 and how much can it change from this? Because you have KL Rahul back with Rohit Sharma. You have Virat Kohli, who will be definitely playing, I believe. Rishabh Pant. Now the question is, I'll get to Jaren first up. Do you expect any changes from this predicted 11 in terms of bowling or in terms of batting?
Well, you have to give me just a second while I pull the screen up.
Yeah.
Just give me a second.
I'll come to Sandibani meanwhile. Sandibani, what do you reckon about this?
Yeah.
Because it's a tricky 11 to choose from. Because if you are there as a selector, if you are there as a captain, you're gonna have a big headache, right? Because it's not gonna be easy. Because for especially like a player like Dinesh Karthik, who was given that role, and for someone like also someone like Ravichandran Ashwin who's back in the squad, how tough is it gonna be for them both to miss out, if at all, if this is the 11?
Yeah, I think if I am the selector, I will probably go with Ashwin ahead of Avish Khan. I know we are getting green tops, and Avish Khan may be very productive early on in the innings and in the later stages of the innings, but I personally feel that Ashwin will bring more experience, and definitely I am a big fan of Ashwin. Whatever he does, he's an innovator. He innovates things, and he's absolutely beautiful to watch whenever he's in the field playing and representing Team India or any franchise that he plays for. So I'm a big fan of Ashwin, and I would hope that the selectors go for Ashwin ahead of Avish Khan, especially considering the form that Avish Khan is in. Because we
Yeah.
saw that even in the game against Zimbabwe, the last game against Zimbabwe, Avish Khan's bowling at the death over was not at all impressive. I don't know what has happened to Avish Khan. This is not the Avish Khan of 2020 IPL. This is not the Avish
Yeah.
Khan that we saw even in the 2021 IPL, 2022 IPL. Because
Mm.
he was completely giving Sikandar Raza those half volleys right at the last end overs, death overs, and there were
Yeah.
no Yorkers landing properly. So I
Mm.
think the form of Avish Khan is a huge concern, even in the game against West Indies. Arshdeep Singh took the game to the last over, and Avish Khan just ended it in the first two balls of the last over. So I feel Bhuvneshwar Kumar, uh, Arshdeep Singh, and we can have three spinners. And Hardik Pandya is a more than capable bowler for being the third seamer for a team. So I think Hardik Pandya as the third seaming option will do the job for them. Otherwise, I don't see any changes. I definitely think Rishabh Pant is going to get the nod ahead of Dinesh Karthik if
Mm.
he's 100% fit.
Very
Because
interesting. Very
and
interesting there.
interestingly, I just want to mention one more point over that. Interestingly, this is potentially going to be the first of three games between India and Pakistan that we are going to see in the next 2 weeks. Given that they are going to play in the Super Fours, and potentially we can also see a India Pakistan Asia Cup final. So we can have
I
three
mean,
of
yeah, I mean,
India
it's
Pakistan
early
encounters.
days to even predict that, but I would refrain myself
No,
from
no, I'll,
predicting
I'll
such
be
a.
bold, and I'll go ahead with my predictions because they are the clear favorites. The top two favorites heading into the competition. I mean, Afghanistan, they displayed a wonderful performance tonight, but I think it will be very difficult to keep the consistency. It is easy to have one good day, and
Yeah.
just they have to keep their heads grounded, focus on the game against Bangladesh, because I think Bangladesh are going to come out all guns blazing because they are going to consider this as a knockout game just to avoid
Mm.
Sri Lanka, just to ensure their qualification.
Yeah, true. Because we have an interesting question here. Can India pick Ashwin? Because everybody wants to know this also, right? Let's pull out the predicted 11 from our end as to what we believe will be the predicted 11 of India. And in that 11, we have not included Ashwin because of the very fact, looking at the pitch today also, it just looks like spinners will come into play, but will definitely not have a huge one. And if India is bowling second, definitely not. But so far, from whatever we've heard, the dew factor in UAE, especially in Dubai, is very less at this very point. So India might play with three spinners, taking that factor into account. But other than that, will India actually go in with three spinners? Which means you'll have Hardik Pandya as your third pacer, and you'll have Arshdeep and Bhuvneshwar to do your opening overs and also your death overs as well. So, what do you reckon, Sandeep? Can Ashwin really make it to the playing 11?
I definitely want Ashwin to be in the playing 11, considering two facts. One, Ashwin is a magician on the field. Number two, Avesh Khan has not been in the best of forms. And Ashwin really deserves a chance, one chance at least. I was mentioning that we can have potentially three India Pakistan games, just to say that, yeah, there will be opportunities after this game as well. So they can try with Ashwin early on, because I think Hardik Pandya is a more than capable bowler for being the third seamer of a team. He can definitely come in the middle overs, bowl early on in the innings, so that Arshdeep Singh can keep his 3 or 4 overs right till the end. And
Hmm.
also we have Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who can just bowl 1 or 2 overs right at the death overs. So I don't think death overs is going to be an issue if these two players play. And in the middle overs, we have Chahal and Ashwin to do the majority of the bowling, and Jadeja can chip in with 1 or 2 overs as well.
Right, right. I mean, you're absolutely right in terms of that. ചേട്ടാ എന്താ സഞ്ജു ഇല്ലാത്ത എനിക്കറിയില്ല എന്താ സഞ്ജു ഇല്ലാത്തതെന്ന്. എന്താന്ന് വെച്ചാ സഞ്ജു ഇപ്പൊ ഏതായാലും ടീമിൽ ഏതായാലും ഇല്ല. പക്ഷേ നോക്കാം, ഇപ്പൊ സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ കളിക്കുവാണേലും ഇല്ലേലും സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ ഏതായാലും അടുത്ത 50 ഓവർ വേൾഡ് കപ്പിന് ഏതായാലും ടീമിലുണ്ടെന്നാണ് ഞാൻ പ്രതീക്ഷിച്ചത്. പക്ഷേ ഈ പ്രെഡിക്റ്റഡ് ലെവലിൽ ഏതായാലും സഞ്ജു ഇല്ല, സ്ക്വാഡിലും സഞ്ജു ഇല്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് ഏതായാലും സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ എങ്ങനെ പ്രെഡിക്റ്റഡ് ലെവലിൽ വരണം? സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ സ്ക്വാഡിൽ തന്നെ ഇല്ല. സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ ഇപ്പൊ നാട്ടിലുണ്ട്. അത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയായിരിക്കും. സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ ഏതായാലും നല്ല സിംബാബ്വെ സീരീസിൽ ഒരു മാച്ചിൽ പുള്ളിക്കാരൻ മാൻ ഓഫ് ദ മാച്ച് വരെയായി. അപ്പം സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ ഫാൻസിന് ഏതായാലും നല്ല സന്തോഷം തന്നെയായിരിക്കും. ബിക്കോസ് സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ, the way he has been playing has been very good. Sorry, Sandeepani, on that. I had to just take the
I
Malayalam
just
question.
understood the Sanju Samson and the man of the match in the Zimbabwe game. Other than that, I'm okay with everything else you said.
Yes. Now let's go ahead. Jaren, coming to you. Jaren, because we already talked about Dinesh Karthik, the player, right? Dinesh Karthik has been such a linchpin for Team India, especially towards the last 4 months at least, and for even for RCB. I'm wearing the colors of RCB. So, for RCB also, he's been such an important factor for finishing the games off. How big a miss it'll be if India are not playing Dinesh Karthik, because he's been groomed to be batting at number 7, number 6 for India, and all of a sudden you're preferring Rishabh Pant because of what he brings to the table as left-hander. So, what are your thoughts on that, Jaren? And Jaren is stuck. Meanwhile, I'll come to Sandeepani on that question as well. Sandeepani, what do you reckon about that?
Yeah, sorry, I just got faded for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, my question was how big a call it'll be not to actually include someone like a Dinesh Karthik in this squad, because
Yeah, I
Dinesh
think
Karthik.
Dinesh Karthik deserves every chance to be in the team, because whenever he has got an opportunity, he has come good for the team. You ask him to bat at number 5, number 6, number 7, depending on when your death overs is, or when the team wants to play like Dinesh Karthik. He just comes in and delivers for the team. And I personally think that Rohit Sharma is a captain. If Kohli would have been the captain or somebody else would have been the captain, I would have been sure that, yeah, Rishabh Pant will get the game. But with Rohit Sharma as the captain, I know Rohit Sharma backs Rishabh Pant as well. But Rohit Sharma is a very good off the field. He's a very good friend of Dinesh Karthik, and he has been seeing his growth. Not just due to bias. I mean, he's seen the growth, and he has seen how he has made the comeback. He has been performing well whenever he has been given that opportunity. So yeah, I think definitely down the line, probably in the game against Hong Kong, we'll see Dinesh Karthik play. But for the first game between India and Pakistan, I think they'll stick to Rishabh Pant.
Very true, very true. Because especially with that reason also, Jaren, you're back. Jaren, just want to ask you this reason
Yes.
as well. Especially Dinesh Karthik, is such a, he's a fan favorite. Of course, he's got that ability to turn the match on its head as well with his finishing ability. Is he going to be missed tomorrow, especially in a game like Pakistan, because he's got a good range against pacers, and Pakistan's biggest strength is their pace bowling as well towards the latter end. So is he going to be a miss for India if he's not playing in the 11? I think he's facing a network issue.
Now, in
He's facing some net.
terms of his
Uh,
abilities,
yeah, as he joins back, I'll get to you. Sandeep, let's go to another question now.
Yeah.
You saw the playing 11, right? Where do you
Yeah.
see the team combination really lying on? Because for Hardik Pandya, some people say he should bat at number 5. And if you have Surya and Hardik in the lineup, where should Hardik bat? Should he bat number 6 or should he bat number 5 for Team India?
I think it depends on the situation. If India lose 2 or 3 early wickets, I think definitely Surya Kumar Yadav should come ahead of Hardik Pandya. And unless India does not lose their second wicket after the 15th or 13th over, I don't see Surya Kumar Yadav being demoted below number 4 in the batting position. I think it
Mm,
should be KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and then Surya Kumar Yadav should get that number 4 spot unless India loses their second wicket at the end of 13 or 15 overs. Then probably we might even see Rishabh Pant coming in at number 4. So Rishabh Pant can even come in at number 4 if India loses 2 early wickets, just to maintain that right hand left hand combination. But yeah, because India has 2 3 top order batsmen. The number 1, number 2, number 3 are right handers for Team India. So they might even try Rishabh Pant at number 4, which we were seeing in the last 1.5 years. Whenever Rishabh Pant was playing the T20 internationals,
mm, mm,
we were
mm,
seeing that he was getting promoted ahead of Surya Kumar Yadav whenever Virat Kohli played, because Virat Kohli missed a lot of bilateral series in between in the last 1.5 years. So we could see Surya Kumar Yadav coming in at number 3, Rishabh Pant coming in at number 4. But
mm,
since Kohli is going to play, I think Surya Kumar Yadav will drop down at number 5 if they feel that they need a left-hander batter in that playing 11. And I don't see Hardik Pandya coming in before number 6. I think Hardik Pandya and Dinesh Karthik are predominantly playing as the finishers in the team, and Hardik Pandya will
mm.
also be a very important cog for the team with the ball in hand, especially if they decide to
Absolutely.
go with 2 pacers.
Truly, truly, and I have no doubts why Hardik Pandya shouldn't be an important cog in this team because he actually gives the balance for this team. Even Ravi Shastri a couple of days ago in an interview mentioned he is going to be the heart and soul of this team. And for me, I think Ravindra Jadeja and Hardik Pandya are going to be the heart and soul of the team. What is another combination which India can actually play? Can India go in with the risk of playing 5 ballers where Hardik becomes the 5th bowler and play Dinesh Karthik instead of Ravindra Jadeja?
I don't think that will be their approach for tomorrow's game, because yeah, the pitches are definitely assisting the bowlers, but they won't risk Hardik Pandya being their fifth bowling option, because they would definitely, because Ravindra Jadeja is no joke with the bat. He has improved considerably over the last 2 3 years, and I think whatever Dinesh Karthik does, Ravindra Jadeja can closely come to matching whatever he can do at the later stages of the innings. So I don't see Jadeja being dropped under any circumstance unless he's injured.
Hmm.
Otherwise, yeah, definitely they would definitely want Hardik Pandya and Jadeja to be that fifth and sixth bowling option, so that just in case if they see that the spinners are doing really well, they can chip in with Jadeja being the third spinner, and if they see that the pacers are doing well, they can chip in with Hardik Pandya being the third pacer in the team as the fifth bowling option. I think that
Right.
will give the balance in the team. And
Hmm.
if they want to experiment, one experimental spot can be Dinesh Karthik in place of Rishabh Pant, and the only second experimental spot can be Avesh Khan instead of Ravichandran Ashwin. I don't see any other changes in that team that can occur for tomorrow's game, unless somebody gets
Interesting.
injured last moment.
Interesting that you mentioned that. And guys, whoever have joined us, just subscribe to our channel because I see a lot of people have joined us today. So please subscribe to our channel right now. It'll be great to see have your love with us as well, so we can keep bringing you more of this content. And also, do not forget to play our fantasy contest with Boom 11 because it's absolutely free of cost to play. And tomorrow, if you win, you can win a Jabra Elite headphones for absolute free of cost as well. So do not miss out on that chance. Taking that up from there on. Let's talk about the Pakistan squad. And before that, before we talk about Pakistan squad, let's talk about a big thing because Virat Kohli today has made a huge statement, right? About how he was mentally not doing well in the last few months. We've been talking, we've been howling about the break which he has taken. We've been talking highly about how cricketers should be taking a break as well. Now let's talk about this particular matter in hand. How will Virat Kohli really go into the Asia Cup? Because we've not had a question of Virat Kohli yet. Usually, when we talk about Indian team, the first question which comes is Virat Kohli. But now he has come out stating about his mental health, about how he was feeling low in the last couple of months, how his intensity, how he was kind of trying to fake his intensity. Those are some huge words, right? Uh, how do you reckon will Virat Kohli be approaching a game like this?
I think first of all, I love our audience because they have become very smart. I think not to mention Virat Kohli is very smart at this point, because we have been hearing about Virat Kohli for the past 6 7 months. It's only Virat Kohli this, Virat Kohli that, because Virat Kohli has not been performing, whether be it he's not mentally in the right place, or probably he's not in the best of forms. That is irrelevant. I mean, it's a game of 11 players, and all the players are equally important. So it's like, when you talk about Virat Kohli, this that, it creates a lot of pressure, just by the fact that so many people are expecting you to perform. So I think that is another thing that could have happened to Kohli. Only Kohli knows what happened to him. And if he has mentioned that he was not in the right place, definitely he was not in the right place, we could see. And him faking intensity, it's always, these are mind games that one plays just to intimidate the opposition. I think in this case, it usually works for Kohli. It worked for Kohli in the 2014 Test tour against Australia, when he was up against all the Aussies, like at their game. And definitely it worked for him back then. It did not work for him right now. So yeah, he took that break. It's a different approach, but I would not like to see Virat Kohli coming in and going after the bowling right from ball one. I think these are low scoring pitches. I think tomorrow's game also, I expect it to be a low scoring one. I expect 140, 150 to be a par score. I mean, 140,
Mm.
150, but you have definitely par should be way higher, because the team batting second will have it way easier. But if any team batting first, if India bats first, they will definitely be looking to score 170, 180 at least, because
Yeah.
the second innings is definitely going to assist the batsman. So yeah, I definitely think that Virat Kohli coming tomorrow, I don't want to see him going after the bowling right from ball one. I
Yeah.
want Virat Kohli to play his natural game, settle down, wait for your opportunities, wait for the right ball, and once you have played 15, 20 balls, you have got yourself in, you are the best batsman in the world. So yeah,
Mm.
you know what to do, but you have to get settled. It's a new game, it's a new start, right? Like, go about it like ball by ball. You don't have to
Absolutely.
be very aggressive in your approach and just go after the bowling right from ball one. I think that is what he was trying to do. He was trying to fake that intensity, he was trying to intimidate the opposition by coming down the track right from ball one, and it just did not work for him. It had worked for him in the past, but tomorrow I
Mm.
would like to see the old Virat Kohli, that is, play the ball according to its merit and don't try to do too many
Just
different
be
things.
Virat Kohli. That's all.
Just be Virat
Michelle,
Kohli,
thank you,
because
Michelle, on
Virat
that.
Kohli is one of the
Yeah.
most sort of disciplined batsmen. I think in that 2015, 16, 17 phase, every innings Kohli used to come, he used to play out 100, 115 balls. There used to be no false shots. I mean, not a single inside edge or outside edge. He used to middle every ball, leave other deliveries. I want to see that Virat Kohli tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, we all want to see the Virat Kohli. It's just not you, bro.
Definitely.
We all want to see him like that. Thank you, Michelle, for that. It's very nice that you people are joining from Australia this late at night. You already had Tammy joining in from Australia. Now you also are joining in from Australia as well. Jaren, coming to you because we've been talking about an issue which is kind of taboo still in the world of sports, right? We had an episode on that actually on how ICC scheduling should be better and how
Yeah.
international cricket should actually look into these matters even more intricately. Now, coming to you, Jaren, Virat Kohli came out openly saying that I'd rather accept that I'm weak than act and fake that I'm strong. So here he is saying that he was trying to fake his intensity, as I already mentioned. But at the same time, someone like Virat Kohli, as someone of his stature, taking a break, how important would that break have been? That's a question from Shaurya as well. Will that break actually do him a world of good? Because you saw at times that he really wanted to be away from the game mentally, or whatever the things were happening off the field with his captaincy being taken away from him. He actually coming out and just saying that I quit Test captaincy, a format which he actually enjoyed the most. And somewhere or the other, you felt like he was just unlike Virat Kohli, right? Even in the IPL, you saw that he was not finding himself to be in the space. Mental health is such an important factor. And how much of this break would have done him a world of good, because he told that he has not touched the bat as well in the last 30 odd days.
I think it just depends on person to person, right? Some people just love, some people when they have this issue, when they feel like they have an issue, or when they feel like they have a problem, they just keep going at it again, 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 again till get it right. And Virat Kohli's been doing that.
I mean, Jaren has been facing some
He's been trying
internet
his best.
issues.
Every match he comes up, but am I still there?
Yeah.
Am I still there? Yeah, I think my
Yes,
internet's
you're there.
behaving a lot like Sri Lankan batsmen today. It's not been a good
Yeah.
day.
I mean, you
Uh,
are good right now. I think it's a
am I
recovery.
Yeah,
audible
it's
now? Am
pouring
I better?
outside, so even I had a lot of network issues. So it's
Yeah, it's
definitely
pouring
that sort of a day.
everywhere. It's pouring
I mean,
everywhere.
it's difficult to get the laptop and move outside. Like,
Yeah, go ahead, Jaren. You are audible now.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think we lost him.
Before it gets
Yeah,
worse, let
I think we lost you again,
taken
Jalen.
those
So
30 days.
I we lost you again. So I'll come to you, Sandipani.
Yeah.
We already spoke about the break. You already wanted him to play well. Now I'll try to address this issue as well because someone like Virat Kohli, someone of his stature, it's kind of bold from his own end to come out and accept such a thing that he wanted to take a break. He was going through such a thing because it's not easy. When you're a player of his stature, when you're a player of his name, it's never easy to come out in public and accept that I was weak, I was depressed. I went through such a situation. So it's big ups to him, big ups to Virat Kohli, the player, to come out and accept that. And he also did mention to Jatin Sapru that he's feeling much lighter after this. So it's good news for India on that regard because when your best player or when your number one batter is coming out and saying that I went through this and now I'm feeling much better, it also sends warning signs to the opposition camp that he's raring to go. And you saw that in the net sessions from whatever videos which has emerged. He's looking much more. He's looking like he's got a glint in his eyes, right? You can see that in Virat Kohli finally, the glint in the eyes, which I like to mention or relate Virat
I mean,
Kohli with.
he had
Virat,
that glint in the eyes whenever he was in, like, not in the best of forms as well. He was getting those starts, but he was not just being able to convert it into big scores. That is the
I mean,
Virat
I
Kohli we
mean,
were
this
missing.
glint
Yeah.
in the eyes is something which I saw Virat Kohli. When he's raring to go, it's something which you relate with Virat Kohli, the player, which you really really want Virat Kohli to do well as well. I'm finally happy to see that kind of performance from Virat Kohli. Now I don't know, is this some kind of a exaggeration from my own end, but then I totally believe that someone like Virat Kohli, we have always seen the best of him. Is technically he has not had an issue. You can say his back foot play is something, especially towards the square of the wicket and the offside, is something which he'd like to improve personally. That's the only technical default I'll say, rather than him pressing ahead. But when you're mentally not in the space, you would definitely not go on to even think about it. You're somewhere else and you're mentally not in the pitch. So mental factor is such a huge thing, right? A mental factor is such a big factor, especially in a game of cricket and especially in any sport. Now I believe that Virat Kohli is back. I expect him to dominate and I expect him to play a certain way which team wants him to play, rather than all that. I just want Virat Kohli to be Virat Kohli.
And
Be
he
that.
has dominated against Pakistan in the past. He averages over 77 against them in T20 internationals. So I think
Yeah.
he's just raring to go. And if I am in the Pakistan camp with no Shaheen Afridi, I would be really scared right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought one player which can really give Virat Kohli that really tough contest is Shaheen Afridi, because now he's not there. I don't know what's really going to happen. And हिंदी में बोल ले रही सी भाई, हम
पाकिस्तान का
हिंदी में
हिंदी
तो
में
बात,
करेंगे.
पाकिस्तान तो अब हम हिंदी में ही करेंगे। चल पाकिस्तान के बारे में बात करते हैं अभी। पाकिस्तान के प्रेडिक्टेड 11 तो यही है। बाबर आज़म और मोहम्मद रिज़वान और फ़खर ज़मान 3 नंबर पे बैटिंग करेंगे शायद, और इफ्तिकार अहमद भी अच्छे फ़ॉर्म में थे। हैदर अली एक एक प्लेयर है, बहुत अच्छे फ़ॉर्म में है, और कुर्जुल शाह उन लोग का ऑलराउंडर रहेंगे शदाब खान के साथ, और मोहम्मद नवाज़ रहेंगे उन लोगों का लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर, और हसनैन हारिस रऊफ और शाहनवाज़ दहानी। शाहनवाज़ दहानी, मैं तो एक्साइटेड हूँ उसको देखने के लिए, क्योंकि उसके पास तो पेस है, उसके पास जिस जिस तरीके का रफ्तार है शाहनवाज़ दहानी और हारिस रऊफ के पास, वो तो इंडियन बैट्समैन को काफ़ी तंग कर सकता है। और इंडियन बैट्समैन को खुशी भी होंगे क्योंकि शाहीन नहीं खेल रहा है। आज देखा भी हम, जैसे कि लेफ्ट आर्म सीमर आके परेशान कर रहे थे बैटर लोगों को, जैसे फजल हक फरूकी ने आज किया, कल शाहीन नहीं करेंगे ऐसा, तो पाकिस्तानी इंडियन बैटर के लिए तो थोड़ा तो खुशी रहेंगे ही रहेंगे कि शाहीन नहीं खेल रहे कल। पर पता नहीं होगा कि क्या होने वाला है, क्योंकि हैरिस रॉफ भी अच्छी अच्छी रफ्तार से डालता है, हसनैन भी है इस टीम में। हसनैन एक रिप्लेसमेंट की तरह आया और शायद कल खेल भी सकता है, या तो हसनैन या नसीम शाह खेल सकता है उस पोजीशन में। मेरे को लगता है कि हसनैन नहीं खेलेगा, क्योंकि हसनैन के पास टी20 का तजुर्बा तो अच्छा है, टी20 का रिकॉर्ड भी हसनैन के पास काफी अच्छा है, और इसके साथ हैरिस रॉफ श्योर शॉट प्लेयर ही है, और शाहनवाज दहानी भी। संजय भाई, क्या लगता है आपको कि कल का मैच में नसीम शाह खेल सकते हैं हसनैन की जगह पे?
नहीं, अगर मेरे से पूछा जाए तो शहनवाज दहानी हसनैन के जगह पे अगर खेलेगा, मतलब दहानी तो खेलेगा, मेरे को लग रहा है दहानी खेलेगा, हैरिस रॉफ खेलेगा। और हम लोग ने जब लास्ट लाइव किया था तो टीम में था मोहम्मद वसीम, जो कि इंजर्ड होके बाहर निकल गया है, और उसके
हाँ,
रिप्लेसमेंट में आया है हसन अली। तो
हाँ,
मेरे को लग रहा है कि अगर हैरिस रॉफ, अगर ये हम लोग के स्क्रीन में जो अभी आया था, अगर दहानी खेलता है, हसनैन खेलता है और हैरिस रॉफ खेलता है, तो हैरिस रॉफ हो गया इन लोगों का लीड पेसर। मतलब मेरे को बस वही कंसर्न है कि हैरिस रॉफ में क्या इतना एक्सपीरियंस है कि एक इतना बड़ा टीम को, मतलब बॉलिंग से लीड कर पाए। पेस अटैक को। तो मेरे को लगता है जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस ये लोग मोहम्मद हसनैन के जगह पे हसन अली को भी खिला सकते हैं। दहानी
जी
खेलेगा,
बिल्कुल।
रॉफ खेलेगा, मेरे को लग रहा है हसनैन की जगह पे अली खेलेगा, हसन अली।
हसन अली
उसके
का तजुर्बा भी अच्छा है। हसन
मतलब
अली के
उसका
साथ क्या
रिसेंट
आता है कि
फॉर्म
हसन
थोड़ा
अली
खराब
को
था।
खराब था, पर जिस तरीके से वो खेला है, मतलब मतलब वो काउंटी चैंपियंस में जिस
हाँ,
तरीके से उसने गेंदबाजी किया है, काफी अच्छे ले में है हसन अली। और ये भी नहीं है कि हसन अली का बैटिंग भी आता है इस टीम में, बैटिंग का डेप्थ भी ऐड करते हैं। मतलब जिस तरीके से हसन अली मतलब बैट कर सकता है, बल्लेबाजी में
लेकिन
तो
इस
है,
टीम का
मतलब
बैटिंग
दस
डेप्थ तो
पंद्रह
बहुत
रन तो
बढ़िया है,
आराम से
क्योंकि
ले सकता
बाबर
है।
आजम, मोहम्मद रिजवान पिछले साल के सबसे प्रोलिफिक स्कोरर्स है। उसके बाद फकर जमान आता है जो कि बहुत अच्छे फॉर्म में है, पीएसएल
हाँ
2022 के लीडिंग रन स्कोरर थे। उसके बाद मेरे को लगता है पाकिस्तान का जो वीक पॉइंट है, अगर 2 विकेट जल्दी गिर गया इन लोगों का, अगर बाबर आजम और मोहम्मद रिजवान नहीं चला, तो क्या फकर जमान अकेले ये इफ्तिकार अहमद या हैदर अली के साथ, जिन लोगों के पास उतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, और फिर इन लोगों के पास ऑलराउंडर्स आता है, मैं खुशदिल शाह को बहुत ऊपर रेट करता हूं।
हाँ,
मैंने जैसे
मैं भी।
हम लोग जैसे पिछले में बोले थे कि रहमानुल्लाह गुरबाज इज आर अंडररेटेड पिक, सिमिलरली मुसद्दिक हुसैन इज आर अंडररेटेड पिक फॉर दिस टीम। आई थिंक खुशदिल शाह इज माय अंडररेटेड पिक, एंड आई थिंक मेरे को लगता है वो कल के गेम में बहुत बड़ा इंपैक्ट खेलेंगे, क्योंकि वो नंबर 6 पे बल्लेबाजी करने आएंगे, और गेंदबाजी में भी वो फोर्थ हाइस्ट या फिफ्थ हाइस्ट विकेट टेकर थे इस साल के पीएसएल में। उनका एवरेज है, बॉलिंग एवरेज है 20 के आसपास, बैटिंग एवरेज भी है 25-26 के आसपास, स्ट्राइक रेट बहुत बढ़िया है। तो आसिफ अली टीम में नहीं रहने से खुशदिल शाह, शदाब खान और मोहम्मद नवाज, ये तीन जो स्पिनिंग ऑप्शन है, ये तो तीन स्पिनिंग ऑप्शन भी है पाकिस्तान का, और इनका बल्लेबाजी भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण हो जाता है। क्योंकि अगर टॉप टू पाकिस्तान का परफॉर्म नहीं करता है, जो इन लोगों के सबसे प्रोलिफिक प्लेयर्स है, बाबर आजम और मोहम्मद रिजवान, देन फकर जमान, इफ्तिकार अहमद और हैदर अली पे बहुत प्रेशर पड़ जाएगा। तो इसलिए ये मिडिल ऑर्डर, ये लोअर मिडिल ऑर्डर जो ऑलराउंडर्स है, स्पिनिंग ऑलराउंडर्स, मोहम्मद नवाज, शदाब खान और स्पेशली खुशदिल शाह का इंपैक्ट कल के गेम में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होने वाला है।
हम्म, we've got तू पाकिस्तान के एजेंट है क्या भाई? इंडिया के तुमको नहीं देखते हैं प्लेयर? नहीं तुम्हें कहाँ नहीं जी बिल्कुल, हमने इंडिया के बारे में बात किया, एक्सटेंसिवली बात किया। आप काफ़ी लेट जॉइन किया है, तो हम दोनों टीम के बारे में बात करने ही वाले थे। हम पाकिस्तान कोई एजेंट भी नहीं है और इंडिया का भी कोई एजेंट नहीं है। हम इंडियंस या हम क्रिकेट के बारे में बात करने के लिए यहाँ बैठा है। बट या वी आर हियर टू सपोर्ट गुड क्रिकेट,
No,
सो
I think this is very unfair on so many levels that I would just would have wanted to ignore this sort of a chat. मतलब क्या ही,
या
ये लोग ने बोला हिंदी में बोलो तो हिंदी में बोल रहे हैं, ऊपर से कोई बात नहीं। तो
इट्स ओके
पाकिस्तान के
या
लिए मैं जो बोल रहा था कि पेसर में मेरे को कल लगता है कि दहानी खेलेगा, और दहानी का रिकॉर्ड भी पीएसएल में बहुत अच्छा है, और हैरिस रॉफ अगर लीड नहीं कर पाएगा तो हसन अली खेलेगा। लेकिन इंडिया के लिए वही स्कोप होगा कि पेसर्स का एडवांटेज ले, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान का स्पिन बॉलर अभी तो, पाकिस्तान का सबसे बड़ा सुपरस्टार बाबर आजम और मोहम्मद रिजवान के बाद अगर कोई है तो वो शदाब खान है। बैटिंग ले लो, बॉलिंग ले लो, हर जगह पे परफॉर्म कर रहा है पाकिस्तान के लिए। पीएसएल में सेकंड हाईएस्ट विकेट टेकर था, और रन में भी बहुत सारे रन किए, मतलब रन्स में भी उसने, वो इंजर्ड हो गया था 8 गेम के बाद, बट ही स्कोर्ड समवेयर क्लोज टू 250 256 इन द पीएसएल 2022, which just speaks volume of the talent that he has। तो पाकिस्तान का ऑलराउंडर कल के लिए मजाक नहीं होगा। जैसे हम लोग हमेशा देखते हैं, अगर इंडिया कोई टीम को खेलता है तो हार्दिक पांड्या और रविंद्र जडेजा आर फार सुपीरियर देन मोस्ट ऑफ द अदर टीम्स। The all-rounder, that is the in the all-rounder department, they are one of the best all-rounders in the world. But right now, according to the current form, I think Khusdil Shah is an underrated pick and Shadab Khan is a Pakistani superstar. So कल इंडिया के लिए बहुत टफ कॉन्टेस्ट तो होने वाला ही है, बट मैं फिर भी अभी बोलूंगा कि जो टॉस जीतेगा वो मैच जीतेगा, क्योंकि हम लोग को लास्ट मोमेंट में बहुत ड्यू दिखेगा पिच में। तो अगर कोई टीम पहला बैटिंग करके जीत सकता है तो वो बस इंडिया है, क्योंकि वो फायर पावर पाकिस्तान के पास भी नहीं है। क्योंकि हम लोग ये पिछले दिन में डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि बाबर आजम, मोहम्मद रिजवान एवरेजेस क्लोज टू 60-70 इन टी20 इंटरनेशनल्स रिसेंटली, तो बहुत इन लोगों का एवरेज का कोई इशू नहीं है। लेकिन इन लोगों का जो स्ट्राइक रेट है, स्ट्राइक रेट एक कंसर्न है। बाबर आजम और मोहम्मद रिजवान दोनों अगर साथ मिलकर शुरू करे तो वो लोग 120-130 के स्ट्राइक रेट से खेलते हैं, और मतलब स्कोर जाता है 150-160 हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि फायर पावर पाकिस्तान के लोअर ऑर्डर में है, जो कि थोड़ा इनएक्सपीरियंस्ड है। लेकिन इंडिया में फायर पावर सीधे मतलब ओपनिंग से ही आता है। केएल राहुल, रोहित शर्मा पहले 10 ओवर पे, रोहित शर्मा हैज the record for the joint fastest century in T20 international. So I mean, that's just speaking of the heights of like the things that they have achieved. तो मेरे को लगता
Yeah,
है कि अगर
absolutely.
कल कोई टीम बैटिंग फर्स्ट करके जीत सकता है तो वो इंडिया है, वरना जो टॉस जीतेगा वो मैच जीतेगा.
It's going to be very tough because, especially given the conditions, what we have been able to hear from Dubai is that the dew has not been there. The conditions have been pretty pleasant towards the later part of the evening as well. So, it's definitely going to help the bowling attack to a certain extent. Thank you, Natasha, for that. It really means a lot because it's okay. I mean, the people who are going to come are going to come. We can't definitely do
No,
anything
no, I
about
mean
it.
we have a lovely audience. I think that was the first hate comment that we got in a long time right now. So
I
I'm
mean, it
very
is not a
grateful to
hate
the
comment. It
to
is
our
just
viewers
the
basically.
it's just the emotional mangle of an India-Pakistan match kicking on to people because especially when you talk about India and when you talk about Pakistan, the two sides have the edge here and there. But see, guys, we are here to support good cricket, and personally, I would want India to win. Well, that's because I am an Indian. I would really want India to win at the end of the day. But at the same time, we're not going to be here not just talking about one team. We already analyzed on India. If you want, you can go back and see our video. We did have an extensive analysis on India, and now we are here to talk about Pakistan as well because we want to know the opposition as well. Uh, Now let's talk about Babar and Rizwan. Do you expect Babar and Rizwan to change the way they bat, or are they really going to bat in such a manner which they want, which they are going to continue batting?
I think they are going to bat the same way because they have been having results. Because we have seen that either of Babar Azam or Rizwan goes on to play a big innings. So one of them just holds the fort. But we may see a different approach in the fact that if they don't lose any wickets at the end of the power play, they might be, because see, it's a India Pakistan clash. You have the pressure. I understand Golu Yadav, I think was the name. I understand his emotions because he's an Indian fan. He wants to hear only about India. So it's going to be an India Pakistan game. There is going to be intense, high octane pressure. So Pakistan, if they bat first or if they bat second, they are going to adopt. Any team which bats first is going to adopt this very sensible approach. If I am not wrong, I definitely feel even if India bats KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma are definitely going to play off the first 3 or 4 overs because it's high pressure, and we have often seen in India Pakistan encounters that they tend to play off the first 3 or 4 overs, and if they don't lose any wickets, then one of the batters will say, okay, it's time for me to go. So either of Babar Azam or Mohammad Rizwan, whoever is feeling good after the first 3 or 4 overs, will go after the bowling. And then if they lose a wicket, you have players like Fakar Zaman coming in and playing at 150, 160.
Thank you, Mr. Kerala Cricket Freaks. We understand that you keep coming to our channel as well, and also Polycam definitely. Yeah, going ahead, before we end the live, let's pick out the fantasy predictions as well because there's been such a high octane clash, right? So we want to pull out the fantasy team. What is likely going to be the fantasy prediction for tomorrow's game? Because in Boomer 11, you have an exciting opportunity to win Jabra Elite 7 head earphones, so you don't want to miss out on that. It's absolutely free of cost to play in Boom 11 and win some exciting prizes. So this is our fantasy predictions. We'll be talking about who is going to be our vice captain or captain for tomorrow's contest, of course. Uh, let's start with Sandeepani. What do you reckon about this fantasy 11? Is this a lineup which can really win you that big prize in the fantasy arena?
I think if you are playing in the small league, I have often said in fantasy sports, if you are playing in the smaller leagues, that is, you are playing head to head, or you're playing in those contests where there are only 3 teams or 4 teams, you can go in with this team. This team looks solid. I mean, any of the players can be a match winner on any given day. You have world number one in T20I rankings, Surya Kumar Yadav, and he'll probably come into bat at number 5 tomorrow. So you can understand the plethora of talent that both the team possesses. There is Shadab Khan, Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam, Haris Rauf. So yeah, definitely you can go with this team. But I would recommend you to pick an offbeat sort of a team. I mean,
Hmm.
I would definitely have Rishabh Pant in my playing 11 because see, if for the Grand League, that is, if you are playing a contest where there are 200 teams, 300 teams, that time you want sort of an offbeat pick to do well for you. I mean, if you pick, see, none of the everybody is going to pick Virat Kohli, everybody is going to pick Rohit Sharma, everybody is going to pick Babar Azam. But how many of you are actually going to pick Avesh Khan? Just imagine if he plays. Like, obviously, you are going to make the teams after the playing 11 is announced. If Avesh Khan plays and if he does well, and if you have that hunch along with some of the data that we provide you with, so they definitely you can go with Avesh Khan and probably make him vice captain or captain in one of your, by making the vice captain or
Very
captain in one of
interesting
your
because
team.
You mentioned that you want to pick up a left field choice to win big.
Yeah.
How important is it going to be to have Virat Kohli as your captain? Can you keep Virat Kohli as your captain? In this current given scenario, Virat Kohli is kind of your left field pick as well because he's not been the best of forms. He's not going to be everybody's number one choice to be the captain. Many people are going to go with Surya Kumar Yadav, Babar Azam, Mohammad
Yeah.
Rizwan as your captain, vice captaincy pick. Can you pick someone like a Virat Kohli as your captaincy pick for tomorrow's contest?
See, I think definitely Virat Kohli will be a very good choice for your captaincy. But I would still, my only suggestion will be wait till the toss, because once the toss is done, the lineups will be announced. You go ahead, make your teams. Once the toss is done and the lineups are announced, you know who is batting first. I would prefer to keep more batsmen from the top order of the team who is batting second tomorrow, rather than the team that is batting first, because tomorrow we may see a early couple of wickets falling for the team that is batting first within the power play. Firstly, it has
Mm,
got to do with the pitch. Secondly, it has got to do with the pressure. So if your
mm,
openers can last the first 5 6 overs, they are going to definitely go on and score big. But it's that first 5 or 6 overs, that spell from Bhuvneshwar Kumar, that spell from Harris Roth, or probably Shahnawaz Dahani, that is going to be the game changer when you are making fantasy teams. So wait for the toss and pick more batsmen from the team that is batting second. That will be my tip for tomorrow. And definitely, these
absolutely.
are the solid picks. The Boomer Fantasy 11 prediction that we have come up with. This is a very solid team. You can go ahead with this in the smaller leagues, but in the Grand League, definitely go for some of the left field choices. I'm not saying you to not to keep Babar Azam or Rohit Sharma in your team. Definitely keep them, but keep some of players like Ashwin or Avish Khan, whoever plays. I mean, Rishabh Pant, they can come in good. They can give you those differentiating points that can eventually get you to win probably the main prize.
Absolutely. And I also think, tomorrow's game is going to be decided upon who's going to have a better day with the ball as well. You might, yeah, sorry. You might have a batter who might go out there and score big, but then it's also going to be decided on who's going to be the bigger asset with the ball, especially considering the conditions, considering what has happened over the last couple of days, especially today. I reckon the ball is going to swing and jitter quite a bit from the wicket. So Arshdeep Singh is not a bad option, isn't it?
No, no, I think Arshdeep Singh is a great pick. Again, in all our lives, we have been praising Arshdeep Singh, and we have been building the hype of the cricketer that he is, and he deserves this. A lot of people were very were questioning the very fact that Arshdeep was picked for the Ireland series, and he got that game ahead of somebody like a Umran Malik. But you have to understand, he even though he did not have the numbers to show for it, Arshdeep Singh was one of the best bowlers in IPL 2022. He has been one of the best bowlers since then, and he has proved himself in the international circuit as well. One might say he has been playing considerable weaker teams, but yeah, no team is weaker. You have to dismiss the batsman at the end of the day, be it Shea Hope in his best form or Kimar Roach in his worst form. You still have to dismiss him. So I think Arshdeep Singh is going to be a great pick, especially because the ball is going to swing up front. But if India are going to go with two pacers, I definitely feel Arshdeep is going to bowl majority of his overs in the later half of the game, and that is when the wickets are more likely to come, because if there is a scoreboard pressure, Pakistan will go after the bowling, or definitely they would like to score big if they are batting first. So they are going
Mm.
to go after the bowling, and that is when Arshdeep Singh becomes so dangerous. He nails those Yorkers and picks those wickets.
Absolutely. Having said that, it was wonderful taking all your questions tonight. We've had some great questions. We've had some great people joining in as well. So thank you all for that. We are gonna be ending the live right here because we are excited for today. Today, actually, the game is already there today. It is the D day. It is the big day.
I'll be
11:30.
traveling to Hyderabad today. I can say today. Yeah, I'll be traveling to Hyderabad, but I will definitely be coming live. I'll come live from Hyderabad wherever I am at the
Yes,
end
he
of the
just
game.
gave the location to Golu Yadav. He wanted to know where you are traveling to and where you are from. So, Mr. Golu, you'll be pretty happy with where we are traveling to. And
Yeah.
yeah, uh, guys, it was brilliant taking your questions. It was brilliant, talking and interacting with you. We had a lot of people joining in. It was a great game of cricket for Afghanistan, of course. Sri Lanka will be very disappointed with what happened later yesterday, rather. than today. What happened later yesterday. But from here on, it's going to be an interesting Asia Cup ahead. It's a big game today. So get onto the Boom 11 app. Download the app right now. The link is in the bio. Click on it and go straight into the app. Make your 11 for it and make the changes after the toss as well. Make sure you choose a very good captain as well and go with your conviction. Go with what your mind says. Rather than thinking a lot about it. If you have an instinct of keeping Virat Kohli as a captain, go for it. If you want to keep Rizwan as your captain, go for it. Do not wait any further. And have a good night and subscribe to our channel, whoever have joined us, so that we can actually come and bring you some really good content. And also follow us on Instagram as well. That's where we're going to be bringing you our fantasy predictions and all the latest sporting updates and memes. And we'll also be doing a Twitter space tomorrow before the game with Crazy Jones, of course. So do join us for that as well. Good night. Have a good time.
Yeah, I had a wonderful time. Thanks for having me. Good night.